So Auto Expo 2023 is big for Kia India. They've just showcased the EV9 concept and the KA4. And talking to me about these launches and more is the managing director himself, Mr. Tae-Jin Park. Mr. Park, thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
First talking about 2023, we started off the new year. Clearly, there seems to be, let's say, good times ahead. What is Kia's forecast? You've had some production constraints, one plant, 2 shifts, 3 shifts, but there seems to be some supply issues still.
Okay. So we think in the year 2023 is that we think there are lots of some difficulties we can face, because like some of the global economic recessions, and also some Ukraine and the Russian wars, and some of the conflicts between the USA and China. And as you already mentioned, there are still some risk of the supply chains. So, and also I want to addition adding up the new very strict and strong positive new regulation is coming from the government.
RDE.
So RDE and the
CAFE.
CAPEC 2 and the safety issues, everything is coming all together. So all these kind of things is ahead of this years. What we are thinking is, even though it is very difficult situations, but we think the Indian automotive industry is a relatively bright spot than the other countries.
Right.
Just like even though the last year Indian economic is slowed down, but it is a high rate of the growth than the other countries. Just like that way, the Indian automotive industry in this year, even though there are lots of some difficulties, we can continue to some growing. But I think there is some limitation of the maximum 1-digit some growth I just expect.
Right. So you think there'll just be 1-digit growth
Yeah.
this year, and that's the overall industry. And where does Kia fit in that? Will you be with the industry? Can we see double-digit growth from your ourselves? And just to give us a sense of what the production capacity plan is going forward.
We are anyways the play in Indian automotive industry. The total market, the trend, of course, we will trend. Our target of this year, of course, even though there is a lot of difficulties for us, especially, but we are thinking about targeting and expecting is around the minimum 10% growth of this year. So when you're just talking about some our production capacity, of course, last 2 or 3 years we continuously increasing our production capacity. Like when we starting, it was basically the scheduled the 300K.
Right.
But so far, till the end of last year, we already increased to the 70,000 K is the production
Right.
capacity.
370,000.
So it is still continuous the increasing our production capacity. So next 1 or 2 years, we will reaching the minimum 420 or 450 K the production capacity.
But if you reach that in 1-2 years, you need to think now for the future expansion. So is a new plant expected?
No. Actually, it's when we starting our plant in another product, the production line was very flexible. And then, for example, like even though we are producing the ICs, the vehicles in there, we can also the EV at the same time at the same production line. That is originally we scheduled the thinking like that way.
Right.
So
So
it
it's
is
very
very flexible. So all those kind of is possible. And then when we continue to do some authorizations, everything, so we can increase our production capacity. And especially last year, we have starting our 3 shift of the productions. So all these kind of things, we adding up our production capacity. So next some 1 or 2 years, it's no problem for us to the production capacity issues.
Yeah, and beyond that, you might
Beyond
have,
this, but still there are the high demand from market. Why not?
yeah,
Because
No,
we
what I
have
mean-
enough land
Yeah.
in our
So
current-
expansion will be within Anandpur. That's what you're
right,
saying.
sir.
You
Because
might
we
build more-
already have enough some extra land in another approach, so there
Right.
is no problem.
Okay, and just looking at the MPV market, clearly, Karen's has done quite well over there. You've had Carnival, which may not have been as successful. You've got KA4 now. What is your assessment of the MPV market? I know SUV everyone is very let's say that everyone knows is growing, but MPVs also, they have a place in India. To be honest, you've seen Innova High Cross also has done some numbers. So just your thoughts on, and Kia's focus on this segment.
What I'm thinking is, the first of all, what I want to clarify is regarding the definition of the MPV.
Yeah.
Because everybody, the old fashion is we just talking about it is MPV, the people movers or something like that. But these days, the new trend is there is no some barriers or some differences between the SUV and the MPV.
Right. They're blurring.
Yeah, they are just get together. All the features is get together in one vehicles. So MPV is, looks like more the SUV like.
Right.
That is why we call it it is a RV.
Right.
So that is one of the some issues. The other one is in India, the RV market was the Indian customer. There is no choice, no alternatives for the, as you already mentioned, just the MPV, because they have no experience, lots of experience or alternatives.
Right.
That is why we are targeting. That is some sense of the blue market in India. So we launching the Carens or Carnivals and all those kind of RV vehicles to here.
Right.
So that is why we can get some a little bit good response from the market.
And how do you think the market is for these vehicles? Because it's quite new. There's only you in this market. There are no really other players.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a lot of scope, or do you think people still want more proper SUVs?
If it is depending on the OEMs or ourselves, we can provide or suggest to the customers the SUV looking with the MPV features or functions. Why not? They will accept. It will be very glowing together with the SUV. Not as soon as possible like a SUV market, but it is still maybe the glowing.
Right. And, I just want to touch a little bit on the diesel market as well, because you've been one of the companies which have stuck with diesel. I understand even after the new regulations, a lot of manufacturers are going out of diesel, but you all are still going to be diesel. Will the diesel market still be, after the new regulations, RD still be of a certain size? What is your assessment of it? Or do you think, there are other powertrains like hybrid, which kind of might again take away the kind of demand for diesel, and even the cost of diesel will go up?
I think that I can say this issue is still regarding what is the alternatives of the ICE. Of course, definitely is the EV is one of the first priority, replacing the ICE. And the second, the other option is like ethanol 20, something like some flexible fuel vehicles, and the hybrid or diesels are there. But the diesel is there is some weakness, because when we meet to some environmental issues, RDE regulations, the cost will be going up. But what I'm thinking is there are still some demand in the market for the diesel, because there is some characteristics of the diesel. The customers, they cannot just keep just one night. And then it is the time of the testing of the new alternatives of the flexible fuel vehicles or some hybrid or some CNG. CNG is a little bit some acceptable in the market now. But all those kind of alternatives, how it is acceptable to the market, depending on those kind of situation, we will also decide to put into here. Or some maybe gradually, if there is no demand, of course, diesel will be going up.
Right.
So because
but you invested a lot for RD.
Yes,
so.
we already have some the technology for the CNG and flexible fuel the vehicles technology, and the hybrid also.
So could we see hybrids coming in? I mean, hybrids are.
We just thinking about some when and which time is the best time for us.
So it's not if, it's when. You will come, but when.
That's right.
Okay, fine. So and obviously the hybrids would have to be of a mass car, so it would have to be of the existing lineup. I mean, I'm just saying it could be a Seltos hybrid or something like that. Is that a possibility in the future?
Of course.
Right. Okay. And just again looking overall at Kia, you've got some good models, but to be honest, Mr. Park, the model lineup is still small. What can we expect? Because you're not going below Sonnet. I mean, maybe you might have a car. Which areas will you be focusing on? Again, will it be SUVs, because everyone is doing SUVs? And could we even see Sorento, for example, which is a possibility, small volume? So just trying to understand, which direction Kia is headed.
In the big picture, so we want to be some RV leading company in here.
Okay, so RV leading companies.
That is why we are not seriously considering passenger the small cars.
Right.
Okay? And then we will continuously focusing on the RV area. And then, as you already mentioned, the premium, the area SUV or RV areas, definitely we are considering now. We will bring to here.
Right.
But
So Sorento could be a possibility.
why not? But I cannot define the Sorento only. So
Yeah.
there are many options
Yes,
for
yes,
us.
yes, yeah. No, I'm just giving an example because it's
Yeah.
there. We've seen it. It's
Of
quite
course,
logical. Yeah.
there is a Sportage and the Sorento, so all different kind of the SUV. It is available for us. So we
Right.
are looking for.
And last question, Mr. Park, is on EVs. Everyone's talking about EVs. You've done the EV6. One question is, do you think you'll have to do a CKD version of it because to get a good price? Because it looks like CKD or SKD versions give you a price advantage. Will you be forced now to look at that route? That's one question. And the other question also is mass EVs. When can we expect that? Because really that's what is going forward.
I want to answering simple questions. When we can mass productions of the EV in here,
Yeah.
definitely in year 2025.
Right,
With the two models, we will local manufacturing here.
right,
Okay, two models will be coming in 2025 and made in India.
right.
And the second question is regarding the EV6. Is why not CKD or CBO?
Yeah,
It's we very seriously analyze between the CKD and the CBO. There is the cost point of view. There is not so big difference, but when we considering some suppliers issues of the regarding especially quality, we decide the CBU. The first stage we just bring to here CBU is best for the quality.
right,
That is why we can provide the best quality of the vehicles to our customer, and then to have a good image of the EV as a EV brand to our customer. That is why we decided to bring the EV6 to the as a CBU, not CKD.
yeah. But could there be CKD going forward? It's just a logical
It is possible,
question.
of course, any times because when we enter the CBUs, it is really necessary for us. Why not? So we can do that. But so far, we are not considering the CKD.
Right. No, not considering CKD for
Because just 2 years later, the mass production EV is coming
Right.
with the two models. We are very busy to prepare that.
Right. And just one last question. To be honest, we've seen Tata Motors. They've shown that it's a good strategy to get an ICE engine and make it an EV.
Mhm.
It's not optimal,
Mhm.
but it's working.
Mhm.
And you get the scale benefit
Mhm.
of ICE and EV. Do you think that's a strategy you would also consider going forward? I mean, EV6 is skateboard, EGMP, full only electric architecture, but this strategy seems to be something which has worked. And question is, do you think it's something you would also consider?
Transitions from the IC to the EV is a global trend now. So definitely it could be. But it's the matter of the time, the speed, how quickly it is changing. So when we just considering the Indians the market situations, okay, Tata is very aggressive. We agreed, okay, but it is depending on the OEM's strategy. When is the best time, or how many vehicles you have to put in here? What is your target volume of the EV? What's the portion of your total production in here between the ICE and the EV? It is depending on their strategy. But we also have our own strategy, how we can do that. We are not behind of the EV trend in Indian market. We will want to do ahead of the EV. But the volume wise, I don't want to do only the volume wise because it's not the volume issues. We are just thinking about some values. What kind of values we can provide to our customers, provide to the market. That is we are more focusing on, and then that means we need some more times looking for what's going on, what's really going on. For example, these days, what is the real usage of the EV for the customer?
Yeah.
They are learning the long ways or not? They just traveling the inside of the cities.
Yeah.
There is because there is something missing. So we just looking all those kind of the things,
Right.
and then we can find out some right ways.
Right. But Mr. Park, to be honest, you don't think you're getting a bit late that you're observing the market in the meantime? Competitors
no.
are
We don't want to behind of the
Right.
trend.
But just coming back to, and I just want to press you a bit on that specific question. And ICE conversion, is it logical? Does it make sense also in your strategy? A lot of people have a strategy. I want to know what Kia thinks of the strategy of just having an ICE vehicle, and electrifying, and an ICE platform.
we have to transit. It
So
is
it-
definitely we have to do. It
So
is
that can
our
be part of the
strategy.
transition.
Of course,
Right,
100% we can do that.
right,
But it is some time or speed issues.
right.
How quickly we have to transit, or how much you want to moving to there. So all those kind of things we are very carefully looking for. But definitely we have that is our strategy. Of course, from IC to the EV, which portion is our strategy.
Right. Right. Well, wish you all the best. Thank you and congratulations once
I
again.
really appreciate. Thank you for your
Pleasure
time.
talking to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, cool.